dimensions. So it's ultimately about customizing the workday to meet everybody's needs. I mean, we're not one size fits all. Wise work one size fits all. So to us, there are actually strategic dimensions that help people modify the workday to meet their own individual needs, how they work, who they care for, and their health and wellness priorities. So we think about time of day, where you are when you're doing the work, but also how ad hoc or preset that schedule is.
And so as you look at the data, what are the most surprising things that you've learned about how people work or when they work or what they need?
There's actually 3 drivers of the need for flexibility, and they're unique drivers, regression analysis, all that good stuff. But caregiving is one, and that's caregiving up and down. We have 2 sandwich generations, but also health and wellness needs. I mean, we have a population that needs to stay healthy. We have soaring healthcare costs. We have, people that are trying to access preventative health but can't. We have like 30% of the population living with acute and chronic conditions. And the third driver is actually all around productivity. So we tend to not think about flexibility as something that increases productivity, but actually we don't all learn the same way, and there's all these disciplines about the science of learning. Why aren't we thinking about how we all work differently?
You are also, you have a job board, you have a posting board, right? But you also work with companies. What's the kind of dialogue that you're having with companies?
It's so interesting. It's changed so much. We've been around for 2 years, and the conversation has dramatically shifted. So what we primarily help companies to do is to use data and insights to really understand that flexibility, or lack thereof, underlies almost every single operational metric they look at. So some things are obvious, like diversity, like retention, ability to hire quickly. It's the top factor for millennials. But what about health and wellness? What about productivity, innovation? All of these things are actually controlled by a lack of flexibility. Real estate. If people could actually work the way they want to or need to be productive, we probably could completely refactor our real estate costs. So we actually have a data-based assessment that helps companies better understand the needs of their population. Needs, not wants. That's very important. This is not, do you want to work from home on Friday? It's what would enable you to work best. And we really suss that out, and it's an algorithmic assessment. Helps companies understand how big their problem is, what types of flexibility would address the problem, and then most importantly, which operational metrics that problem is driving. So everything comes down to dollars and cents. So ultimately, flexibility helps companies make more money.
I do feel like, and you alluded to this, that the conversation has changed. What was the catalyst for that, do you think, as you talk to CEOs and you talk to people who have to manage these sorts of operations every day?
I think it's a number of things. I think, number one, labor productivity has been pretty much stagnant. I mean, there was just a great research report that showed that labor output has been growing at 1.4% for the last 10 years. I mean, that's not sustainable. We just can't wring the towel anymore. We can't get any more out of our people. So companies are constantly talking to us about, the importance of increasing OpEx, and like, how do they do that? And how do they actually reduce OpEx? How do they manage that over time? And then I think the other thing is, I think there's a big social conversation. I think it's hard to deny what's happening in the public sphere in terms of diversity, in terms of women in leadership. So I like to think about it as like the taxi light is on for flexibility. And I think we're at a really special time where there's a lot of forces that are driving profitability, but also a lot of social forces that allow this to actually happen.
Up next, we'll introduce you